Yeah. That should be the lead picture in the website.
You also tell Fatima that I need to update the website with her photo as well.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing I want to share, Fatima's daughter came to visit, and she is graduating college with a degree as a science teacher, biology teacher.
Great.
Right, so she went through North Smithfield, she came back and she saw the new labs at the high school. And her and a friend were shocked. They were saying it was like the renovated labs, the new labs over at URI. And URI has invested a lot of money into their science and engineering facilities. And this lab that they saw rivaled what they would have at a university. That's what we're preparing them for. This next section is just informational. This is new hires, leaves, section. So
Just even
Keep going.
explain to people about
yeah,
the new informational versus, these used to be part of the.
this used to be part of the consent. But again, with the new legislation, these things are now moved out of school committee approval. And I had a discussion about this with Ben, to sort of, okay, what do we have in consent and what is there as information? And something like this, this is a leave of absence as informational in the sense that it applies to the contract. This is already defined within the collective bargaining agreement. Now, where a leave of absence would come up under consent would be if somebody is requesting a non-medical such leave of absence. And we've had that before where somebody is requested, say, a leave to a sabbatical or somebody wants to try a job in another district but wants to come back, and usually my recommendation to the school committee would be no. The school committee would vote to, that would go still under consent. But all of these things that sort of fall within the new legislation will be on the agenda, but as an informational piece because it's not there for vote by the school committee. And again, I went through this with Ben, and we went through all the different, convoluted, because you want to make sure that everything is in the right place. No authority is being impinged. So. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you. Fiscal year 20 operating budget, Lisa? Are we on? Yeah. So are we on budget? How does it look? Plus,
We're
minus?
on budget. At this point in time, I think we'll probably have less than 100,000.
Great. Anybody have any questions? So the 21 budget? It's we sent to
Sent to the town budget committee, administrator. We have a meeting scheduled for April 7th.
and when you say meeting schedule, we with the
Budget committee,
with the budget.
present the budget.
It's a subject. That's what was
No,
polled.
that's no,
But it was polled as a subject.
I don't think so. I got it.
It was to everybody, but I think it said subcommittee, budget subcommittee, something to that effect. Okay. Well, I had them contact you about the meeting. Yeah, we can enforce it. We can also,
We should be, all of us.
so you want it to be,
I would
meeting.
like everybody, yes. I'd like to, that's what we did last year. Last year we did all of us in the budget committee.
we do Right, but I think if you're meeting with us, right, versus the school committee. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Overall, yeah.
Right. No, everybody, plus is invited, but it is a budget subcommittee meeting. with
So-
Everybody invited.
So it gets advertised as a budget subcommittee meeting?
I believe so, yes.
I think the concern is if we're all,
I'll do it any way you want to do it, but I'm just saying when it was, I believe when it was polled as a budget subcommittee. And that's why I referred it to you. And that everybody else can go, but if you want to just call a meeting, I'll call a meeting, that's not a problem.
I would prefer to be called.
Okay.
I can run it as the budget subcommittee, but I would prefer that you call it as a full meeting.
we're covered if we put it that way, you know what I mean? And then as long as we have,
Then anybody
Why
can
don't we vote?
speak and.
can we do both? Because that way we're thinking,
Yeah,
if we
we
did, because then if we didn't have a quorum, but we had nothing with the subcommittee would still be, you know, if for some reason we do a school committee and the school committee's not going to stuck in a quorum. But we could, so we do both.
We can look it up, but I think it was advertised as a regular subcommittee meeting.
I
Okay.
think so too.
Last year.
Yes.
Okay. Then do it that way.
Okay, so it'll be, but call it as a full school committee meeting. And if there isn't a quorum, then you can still move forward. Is that okay? Okay, does anybody have any questions in regards to that? So move on to the Veterans Memorial Stadium committee update. I don't think there's anything to report here. I know that Mr. Gurdon contacted me in regards to some funds that he's holding. He did ask me if the school committee would be willing to hold those funds. And I just asked him of course we would do that, but I would rather have him hold the funds for now. He's publicly reported it, so there's no issue there. But if it's turned over to us, there'll be other things that we have to do versus they're not town funds or anything like that. So there would be other avenues we have to go through to spend these types of funds. So just have it hold it for now. Anybody have any questions on that? Moving on to the cell phone policy.
I don't have anything new this evening, but I would like to extend kudos to the teachers of the classrooms that we visited, who visited the science labs, and the children, the students in those classrooms, for having their cell phone pockets to put in. I think it's important for the learning process, and I give credit to both the teachers and the students for,
And I have some information for you.
okay,
So, we have been following up on our cell phone policy. We did meet several weeks back with the principals. And, you know, it's pretty much an agreement at the elementary and the middle school. There isn't a place for that. In fact, one of the sites that we're going to take a look at, that we're going to utilize is Away for the Day. And it has model policies and posters and research around this keeping cell phones away from the day. All right, for the younger students. All right, and this is pretty much elementary, middle school level. In fact, that is the practice here at the middle school anyway. You're not supposed to take your cell phones out, leave them in your locker. But what we can do is a policy sort of codify that, reinforce it. Now at the high school, however, it's a bit more nuanced than just Away for the Day. So I did meet with a group of students to discuss cell phone use. And this particular class that I met in was that communication and design class. And they said if they couldn't use their phones, they'd be dead in the water. They couldn't do their lessons because they use their phones, they photograph things that go into their books and newsletters, they do editing, they share information with their phones. Over in the music classes, the students have to record themselves performing, and they send those files on to the teacher for review. So there are a number of classrooms in which the smartphones are used as smartphones, that they're integral to the lesson, to the content of the course. There are other classes, however, they're not necessary, not built into it. So, and you see the SWATs, leave it there at the door. So what I would say is that I think it's pretty straightforward at the elementary and the middle level. I think I would hold that it would be more situational at the high school level. We don't see the level of abuse at the high school and distraction that, maybe has been reported in other places. So again, I just want to pursue that. We can put language around the elementary and the middle. However, we can have some clarification at the high school.
And I don't disagree with anything that you've said this evening. I still have issue with kids texting their parents immediately that something's happening in the school
Exactly.
before the
Right.
administrators know.
Mhm.
When an administrator says to me, Chris, you're right, I'm getting calls from parents because their kids are texting them that something's going on that hasn't even made it down to the office yet. That's where it becomes a problem, and that's how pandemonium sets in. And we just don't need that.
I agree, and there are other, there are other sort of fine lines that you can walk with this, in the sense that, there was a student, for example, that I was talking to, who was saying that, sometimes there are notes up on the screen that maybe happen too fast, and she likes to take her phone out and just take a picture of the slide that happens to be up on the board. But then we also have further regulations and legal requirements about privacy. If there are other students in that photograph, if somebody says, hey, did you get the notes from the class? Yeah, let me send it to you, and then post it publicly, and there's students in there.
But shouldn't those be available to the students anyway?
They
If
should
they're being
be.
shown, why can't they go through their Chromebooks as part of that class?
Right, and so there's also going to be some retooling that has to go with it. Now, one of the issues that comes up with the Chromebooks is that, and we're trying to address this, these things are old now, and they're not exactly in the best health. So there are some speed issues and sometimes breaking down. We desperately need to be replacing our Chromebooks. I use a Chromebook for absolutely everything, so I feel that I'm not limited by with a Chromebook. But my Chromebook is newer, it's open. I have apps on there that, we might question, can students install extensions and apps of their own? I also spill into my phone quite a bit. So there is that sort of that 21st century tool set that you would use versus the concern about safety, security, privacy, distraction. So I'm not saying there's an easy answer, but we have to be more nuanced. That's all I'm saying, is we have to be more nuanced with the usage at the high school.
I know there are college professors out there that ask
Responsible
their
use.
students to close their laptops,
Mhm.
to put their phones down and pay attention.
Yeah.
And maybe it's easier at a college level because the kids are paying for it, so you have to listen to what your professor says versus what we do here, or the sneaking under the table, or the desk, or whatever.
I would actually think it's probably easier to control it in most of our high school classrooms than at a college situation actually. Again, some of it will also be with the teacher for classroom management, and some have very good protocols in their rooms regarding the cell phones, when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate, and they abide by those rules. There are very clear expectations. And so there's a student responsible use, there may be some professional development that we could do with some of the teachers, how to incorporate this, how to restrict it, how to limit it, how to actually use it effectively if the lesson or your subject area calls for it.
That'd be a great.
Oh, yeah, but, and that's why I'm not comfortable thinking of a just outright ban at the high school level. because like I said, these are very powerful tools. It's a learning tool,
So are we working on rewriting our policy then?
right, so, we're going to use quite a bit of, some of the things that are up here in the away for the day. And they do have some sort of hybrid approaches that we could use at a high school. And again, very straightforward at the elementary and middle. High school, we will do some more revision around that. And again, I'd like to, if we don't have something from Ryan, I'd like to keep developing this and presenting, updated versions of this for policy.
I would like to keep this on the agenda until we actually come up with a
Please,
new policy.
yes.
If that's okay.
So Superintendent, obviously this is a broad statement, but what would happen if you banned them unless teacher authorized it for specific school purposes? When I say ban, I mean you can't use it in the classroom unless the teacher says, you know what, the examples you use, it's a learning tool and I'm monitoring basically what's going on versus having someone in the back. Well, it's a policy.
And that may be just a simple solution, so we can take a look at that and come up with some different variables and just keep it for discussion.
Well, we talked about rewards last time, something like putting docking stations in the classrooms. I know it's all tied to extra funding, but some of that funding would be very small to be able to do something like that. Or for a teacher to say, we're not going to be using our cell phones today, put them in the box or put them in the holder. Or we are going to be using them today, keep them at your desk. And I think there may be, that the students may feel they're more in control if they have a little bit of leeway back and forth, instead of just outright, no, everybody put them in there, you're never going to need them in this classroom. But offer the docking station instead.
Sure.
I don't know, I just,
Well, and one of the other things that we, in up here and away for the day is also the messaging that goes out to parents. And reinforce, if there's an emergency, if you need to reach your child, call the front office, just like we used to do in the old days. We'll get hold of the person, or if there's something that, you need to call your mom for something, go to the office. So.
All right, so we're going to keep this on the agenda. Great. Next item on the agenda is the Halliwell naming rights. Anybody have any comments or questions or ideas? Can we take this off the agenda, or do you want to keep it on?
I would prefer to keep it on until maybe somebody comes up with something.
I'll just speak this now. I don't want to see too many standing items though on the agenda that we're not, we've got nothing to do to it, to bring to it. I don't have a particular problem on these two, but on the Halliwell naming rights, it seems to me that we're at a spot where nothing's going to change until something changes. In other words, if something happens with property up in the Bell Park down, that's when we'll be in a position where we're going to look at this issue again. But until then, short of that happening, that's how I feel about the property, because that's what we need to do.
So, obviously, if anybody requested to go on, I can put it on.
Of course,
Comfortable with that, or?
And it can always be part of community content, so.
Right. So, there's no comments on that, I'll take it off the agenda unless there's an objection. Okay, is there any further business? I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.